Hey guys, it's a quick game in the Réti Gambit. Really want to encourage you guys to pick this up. It's really refreshing for me. So it's just a blitz game. My opponent's rated just under 1300, and I start with knight f3. We have d5, and this is obvious. You know, they want to put one pawn in the center. They've been taught to do that, and you can't play e5, so it's going to be d5. We now continue with the move c4, trying to tempt this pawn off of there, in which case we'll try and recapture it with e3 and a discovered attack by the bishop. They take the pawns, probably the most common move, and now e3. And now the question for black is, how am I going to defend this pawn? So the most common moves that I appear to be seeing, is b5. So we get b5 here. You contest b5 immediately with a4. They try and defend it again, and you trade off. And now, because I made this mistake earlier on in the blitz game today, can't remember what I did, something like c3, but I think the correct move is knight a3. You're attacking both of these pawns, one of which is defended by the other. So now what are they going to do? So now he pushes this. This is obviously a bit of a mistake, because I can take this pawn for free. This pawn is now pinned after the knight has moved out of the way, and so he can't take back. So queen comes out, and now we have a choice. The computer says knight a3 is maybe the most accurate. I come back to c3. I thought about kind of going forwards with my knight, but then one of them can be kicked away, so just got to be a bit careful. So I thought I'm doing all right here. My opponent's queen side is not in a great state at all. They're also completely undeveloped on the king side, so it's a great position to be in. It is only +1 according to the engine at this point. Hey, Sash. So opponent now moves their queen again to c5, and I decide to push forward with d4, allowing an en passant capture. The computer says this is okay, but actually rook a4 was its recommendation. Half a pawn better than anything else, putting two attackers there on the c4 pawn. So I push d4. I figure if he takes en passant, I'll recapture with my bishop. I'll be ready to castle. That is exactly what happens. And now look, I've got 1, 2, 3 pawns out in the board. I have a secure king side. I'm ready to castle. Black, on the other hand, is not. It's still only +1 though. You know, if you're playing against Stockfish would fancy its chances. Okay, bishop comes out, pins the knight, and now I throw in a check with the queen. How good was that? It's not up there. It's not up there. It's still saying rook a4 or knight to e4 to hit the queen. But here, I realise that this is actually a fork, and my opponent has to, I think, play the move bishop back to d7 to block that. They fail to do so, and they lose their bishop. Okay, now it is winning for white. Again, if you're a fan of bringing your queen out in an aggressive and attacking manner, then this might just be a good opening for you. Okay, I just decide to castle here. They bring out their other knight, and now I want to trade off the queens. Simple as that. Okay, they contest the queen, and I'm going here for the trade-off. I'm still only going to be +3, but they actually resigned at this point. But this is a really lovely, refreshing opening. Let's have a quick look at the Explorer. So far, what have I actually experienced as white? My games here. Okay, d5, overwhelming, right? Most of the time, they're going to occupy the center. Other moves, knight f6, knight c6. Black does better in those lines, so that's stuff I need to prepare. Okay, and then so I've played d4 here in this position a bunch of times, but after c4, I've got a 65% win rate, and that is not to be sniffed at. Okay, a bit less than half the time they'll take the pawn. But if they push forward with d4, I've had that 3 times, I've won every game. If they play knight f6 here, I've had that twice, I've won both games. So it's all good. It's all good. Try the Réti Gambit, guys. See you later.